User-centered design is an iterative problem-solving method in which you focus on truly understanding the users, their perspectives, and their needs in each phase of the design process. In looking to design or redesign mental health treatments, or the ways they are implemented, there tends to be multiple users to consider. At a minimum, there is the patient and there is the provider delivering the intervention. You must be prepared to try things quickly, get lots of feedback, and not be too invested in any one solution too early in the process. UW-ALACRITY Center's DDBT framework, which stands for Discover, Design, Build, and Test, has been developed based on best practices from the fields of user-centered design, implementation science, participatory action research, and service design. All of the pilots our center supports are asked to use this methodology. In the upfront discover phase, we identify the different needs and points of views of all the stakeholders. These needs can be both stated and unspoken. This is when you try to really understand the unadapted evidence-based psychosocial intervention and its context. What is the physical setting and social environment the EBPI currently is, as well as will be delivered in? This includes sociocultural factors such as income, education, and cultural norms of all the end users, the organizational structures, as well as any artifacts, both tangible and digital materials that are used. Most importantly, this is when you really need to clarify what the problems are that need to be addressed. What are the usability issues and any other barriers there are to implementation? In the design phase, you synthesize your findings and insights collected during the discover phase. This is your opportunity to test assumptions that you or the stakeholders may have about either the problems themselves or the potential solutions. You define requirements for possible solutions and come to a consensus on how you will define success. At this point, you start ideating concepts, developing a large number of possible divergent ideas that could evolve into solutions. I mentioned earlier that part of using a user-centered design process involves not being afraid to fail. That is where the testing and iteration comes into play. When people decide too early in the process what they think the solution is, they invest time, money, and emotion into that solution and are more likely to ignore feedback that it might not be the right path. By creating quick, low-fidelity prototypes that are constantly being brought back to the users for feedback, modifications, and validation, we are more likely to land on an innovative solution that meets the needs of the users long-term. While the DDBT framework is outlined with one phase seemingly leading to the next, in practice the process is carried out in a more flexible and nonlinear fashion. More than one phase may occur concurrently, and results from the build phase may reveal some insights about users, which in turn may lead to another brainstorming session to ideate and develop new prototypes. Finally, you get to the test phase, and at this point you have reached enough consensus that you feel comfortable finalizing a solution. You develop a high-fidelity prototype and implement a pilot to evaluate the feasibility of the solution in a real-world context.